So, guys, welcome. My name is Teflon. Welcome back to the WSXM channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for returning. So, anyway, the France President Macron, for some reason, at the UN summit, he convinced President Ruto to keep the Francophone summit in Kenya in 2026. The Francophone summit has never kept on the African continent before, never, because it's French-speaking heads of state normally goes to this and they talk about democracy, human rights, agriculture, education, politics, and they always exclude Africa out of these kind of talk because, according to them, Africa don't have nothing to give to the world. This is what this is their thought process. So why now, and why President Ruto accepted this deal? The Francophone Summit has been in existence since 1973, and they have never kept it on the African continent, and they have never bring African heads of state to come to this summit to help discuss the way forward for it, especially when it comes to democracy, economy, and human rights. They never have. They always tell African countries what to do because they have their hooks on the African continent. So President Ruto is a puppet. He have done that as a puppetry. We have known this. He's very corrupt. He and his minions are very corrupted. They buy mansions. They fly over the world. They buy mansions in France and they buy expensive cars and they buy apartment buildings and they rent it to people. They buy agricultural products and then resell it to the farmers at a higher price. They buy it at a cheaper price, then they resell it at a higher price. It's been proven. That's why they had a riot recently in Africa because, like Africa, in Kenya, when President Ruto was trying to squeeze every last dime he can out of his citizens to enrich himself and his cronies, regardless of what he said is about, and the IMF, because the IMF is backing him 100%. So why would they keep the summit there? It is concerning because the DRC, before we go to that, they said they don't want to talk about climate change and carbon emission and a carbon tax and all of this crap. Why? Because Africa did not contribute to the carbon emission climate problem. This wasn't Africa or the Caribbean. They are pressuring the Caribbean countries, Jamaica, and all the other African countries about climate change. They are stopping our industrialization because they are saying we are going to add to the contribute more to the climate change issue. But we did not do it in the first place. The European countries, France and all these other countries, America and other countries, they are the ones who contribute the most to the climate issue. So why is it putting it on African countries and Caribbean countries to fix and want to tax us? No, you guys cause this problem. You should pay for it yourself because your countries benefited highly from this. For instance, coal powered plant, they shut them down in South Africa, and that's causing a big problem in South Africa because of electricity problem. While they are still buying tons, billions of dollars annually of coal from Africa to run their own power, coal powered electrical plant. So why are they not cutting their electrical plant from running coal and go to solar, wind, turbine, and all of what they're trying to force on Africa and the Caribbean? No, this is not right, and this is what President Ruto is championing. He's championing for African countries to do not get industrialized and cut carbon emission when we did not contribute it in the first place. This was on a Western world European king. They should pay the cost. They should help fix and help us industrialize. But no, if they allow Africa to get industrialized or the Caribbean, then they don't that grip they have in the on these countries will cease to exist. We will not need them anymore. And it's currently happening because look at what's happening in Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. These countries stop exporting raw materials and they are building their own factories. And this is what they're trying to stop. So if more and more African countries stop exporting raw materials and refining themselves, the economy of a lot of these major countries is going to crash. Hence the reason why I think President Macron is keeping the Francophone summit in Kenya because if he does that, and when he does that, they're trying to recruit other presidents who are weak-minded to have them um, put laws in place to benefit external forces. And you see, the francophone countries, which is the former French colonies, that still using the CFA franc. He, there's talks of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the Sahel countries, to drop the CFA franc and then have their own currency. So if that happens, they're gonna hit France of all the highest, and they're gonna affect the euro because the euro Not only that, Senegal, I think Gabon, Guinea, Cameroon, and these other countries are still using CFA franc. And it's around 14 countries is still using the CFA franc. And they all put their money in France banks. That's where the CFA franc, that's where they have to deposit it. So if they stop using it, that means the money no longer goes to France. It stays in their central bank. And this is what they're trying to prevent because it will hit, you're gonna hit the euro hard because there's billions of dollars won't be coming in anymore to help prop it up. So there's many reasons why they're trying to keep this francophone summit in Kenya because they want to convince other weak-minded leaders to continue the status quo. Do not try to change. Do not cut off their resources. Perfect example: DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Every single country on this planet have their hooks in the DRC. All we need is a president who is willing to shrug off all of them and listen to me. No more exporting of my raw materials. We're gonna start take back our license and we're gonna start if you wanna refine, if you want our resources, build your factory in my country, hire my people, pay your correct taxes, and then you can get the resources. But no, they are putting presidents in place to make sure that's never happened. That's just an example of what I'm talking about. This is why they hate President Chori so much. And they have been trying to up to last week they tried to take him out. Last week they tried to attack the base where he keep his drones. The airport, they were going to attack in the airport, the presidential palace. There's plans to attack a certain cities, major cities. I did a video on it 2-3 days ago. I'll put a link in the description for you to go and see it, where it's laid out. The plan is laid out. Names was called, countries where who was involved, and all of it was involved in this plot to take out Ibrahim Chori last week, on the 29th of August to the 3rd of August to be exact. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and take a look at it if you haven't seen it or hear it. And this is the Minister of Security saying this. It wasn't hearsay. It's the President of Security who is saying this, and he's have proof, recorded, and evidence and everything. Anyway, so this summit they're trying to keep in Kenya, which are going to talk about, again, climate change, human rights, democracy. And these are what they're going to focus on: democracy, human rights. Because this is what they use to hold back the continent as well: democracy, human rights. They're trying to use the LGBTQ movement as a catalyst to punish African countries who ban or against it. And democracy, it's to force Western democracy where they can manipulate the votes and manipulate the leaders and put their own people in place to become presidents to run these countries so they can again continue the status quo and keep doing the illegal things that they're doing to stop these countries from um, rising up. And this is why they hate the Sahel countries, these leaders, because what? They don't want this to be replicated in the continent because the minute it does, a lot of countries gonna suffer economically because there are a lot of them depending on the people don't know this. There's billions of dollars being smuggling out of Africa via gold annually and uranium. They have cobalt. These things are being smuggled out of Africa constantly. And that's what they're trying to put a stop to. And they were trying to what's what some of these leaders, African leaders, are trying to put a stop to. Stopping their exporting of raw materials and cutting down the smuggler rings and all this. And hence the reason why they make sure Africa has always have destabilization going on. This is a planned thing where they have like they try to make it sound as if it's terror groups or malicious coming in these countries to cause ruckus. It's a it's a plan to make sure these countries stay at war, to fight each other, so that they cannot see and feel what's going on underneath with the stealing of our resources. This is proven. That's why they hate Ibram Cheri so much, because he's have proof that certain countries have mercenaries in their countries destabilizing, and they are in Ivory Coast and Benin currently having training camps, training people to take out or destabilize Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. This is happening right now, so there's proof of it. Anyway, this is what they've been doing for centuries now. Keep the countries them fighting at each other, keep them at each other's throats so that they don't come together and we can stop some stealing their resources and making them billions and billions and billions of dollars to run their own countries and their own economies while Africa suffers. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. As always, I don't know. Hit me up and we can all response. Thanks for listening. Thanks for paying attention. Return next time for another video. We'll be dropping soon. Boom.